Smarterfan. Hey, everybody, welcome to another segment of Smarterfan Podcast, where we bring you behind the veil of sports, business, and life. I'm Joe, and this is Barry. How you doing, Barry?
What do you mean, Joe? How am I doing? 2024 is over. 2025 is here, my friend. It's a new year, new action, new sports, new things going on. I'm excited, buddy. Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Did you drink too much eggnog? Wake up.
Nah,
Get your back. Come on, young man.
don't touch the stuff.
Good to see you, man. Glad you crossed over to 2025. Good to see you. We're going to have a lot of fun this year.
Yeah. So we're going to take a look back at 2024 and I'll do a little review.
Okay, let's do it.
So these are my groundbreaking events for 2024. Caitlin Clark.
Ooh, that girl
Now,
can ball.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Her and Angel, they put the spotlight on the WNBA.
They really did.
And between the record attendance and the viewership and seeing a lot of guys wearing WNBA jerseys. So,
yeah.
you know, I mean, she was ultimately named Rookie of the Year, and she broke several records: most points by a rookie, most assists by a rookie, first rookie to record a triple-double.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. And now she's only the fourth women's basketball player to win female athlete of the year.
Really?
Yeah. Believe that. So
Not surprised that she did it. It's just you think about all the greats ahead of her, and it's like, wow.
exactly.
But the girl could ball. I mean, she put on a clinic.
That's definitely.
I would give that to all the girls who came in this year.
Yeah.
They really, you could. It was like, wow, they're really better than the old guard. Yeah,
That's for sure. That's for sure. Now, another young lady who was playing at the top of her game was Coco Gauff.
Yeah, that's a bad lady.
Now, she's the youngest tennis champion at the WTA since Maria Sharapova in 2004. And she's the first American since Serena to win the championship in 2014.
Amazing.
Yeah, that young lady.
Is she 20?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah, she's the youngest to do it.
Jeez.
So, yeah, I mean, the girl could play. She could play. So, now Simone Biles.
Man, the woman who defies physics. That's how I identify that girl.
I'm telling you, man.
She defies physics. And I don't know why people don't talk about it. I don't know how in the world you can flip in the air 3 times, rotate your body, and flip the opposite direction. How do you do that?
The only person I've seen do that was the doctor.
Exactly. Like, is he come? Actually, doctor used to make you like, is he coming down?
Yeah. So she performed in the Olympics despite a sore calf. And
that's crazy.
She won 4 medals and led the U.S. team to the gold. And she has a record 11 medals, Olympic medals.
As I say, she's otherworldly. She really is.
Oh yeah, and it's just like you said, the way she moves and all of that stuff she does, it's just dazzling to watch.
It is. I mean, it really is. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm like, is anybody going to talk about the laws of physics that she is violating?
Yeah, yeah. So, what's your take on the look back and the coaching
Oh
changes
man,
that went on?
I have so many, but I guess the ones that really leap out to me
Hmm.
is, of course, Deion Sanders, and I call it the watershed moment of college sports.
Hmm.
Not only coaching, but the media that he leveraged,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? So what does that mean? He allowed others to tell the story, but he told his own story and then kicked it up a notch, right?
Yeah.
Highlight players, expose players, and kind of level the playing field when it comes to media. He
Hmm.
seems to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner, which I think made a lot of people upset. His ability to leverage the portal better than anybody else, and
Hmm.
talk about this is the new world of collegiate sports now that you've introduced money above the table and not the
Yes.
table.
Yes.
That's only part of it. The other part of it is how to educate these young men and women and handling this, how to get them to understand that they're really, really pros now, and the expectation mentally
Mm.
as well as physically are going to be a lot higher.
Oh yeah.
You negotiate the situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's to me one of the biggest watershed moments. I mean, the numbers are coming in. I think he's brought in like $100 million to the economy of Colorado,
Yeah.
which is scary
Yeah, man. Yeah.
because the mayor didn't do it,
No.
the governor didn't do it, the head football coach and program did it.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
sold out the stadium numerous times, easily got 60,000 people in there.
Huh?
But so that was one of the biggest, my friend. What else you got going?
Well, these are some of the noteworthy events that I thought of, and of course, one had to be the Yankees World Series collapse.
Oh, you're so brutal. You're
I
so
mean,
brutal. You're
that's
so
the
brutal.
that's the fifth inning of Game 5 that will live in infamy. I mean, I've
I
seen
love you,
better
man.
little league games,
Oh, God, I
you
love
know.
you.
Now the thing is, now will this be Judge's legacy?
No, you're still young for that.
Mm. Well, time and history will tell.
Yeah, he wins next year or wins within the next 3 years. He'll go down one as the greatest Yankees. Watch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So now Saquon, now he sat out the last game of the season, so he
Yeah,
came up 101 yards short of Eric Dickerson's single season record of 2,105 yards.
yeah.
So,
I
like
don't.
I said before, you know, there's just gonna be hanging over him. What if, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I have a lot of feelings about that, and I all I would say is I hope I hope the ownership slid him a 10 million, $5 million check.
Mm, yeah.
Because if they don't go to the Super Bowl and win,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
again, these are the decisions made by front offices because he could have played the first half. Hey guys, let's see if we can get this done in the first half,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
We get it, wonderful. If not, second team, y'all are in.
Yeah. Well, anyway, at least
Anyway,
him and Jalen, they went out and they bought the offensive line personalized golf carts.
yeah, that's a nice way to better to give it that way and then give it to the tax man. That's a
Mm-hmm.
smart. I
Yeah.
saw some clips. They had a great time, and I'm all for that. I've had people bounce back up for me. Well, what about if he got hurt? Bro, you could get hurt in the locker room tripping over a towel.
You know, you know.
But I'm not saying 200 yards. I said think about what we're saying. Not 200 yards, not 300 yards, 100 yards.
Right.
for a guy who's ran out of the backfield for 75 yards in one run.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you got to take into the consideration the player. But like Kenny Rogers used to say, you got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them.
Exactly.
You got to know when to walk
Exactly.
away.
Now, LeBron, he became the first player to reach 40,000 points
I thought
in
he
his
did that
career.
already. Okay.
He did that. Yeah, he did that this past year.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So now he just turned 40.
Mm.
And he said that he could probably play at this level for another 5 to 7 years.
Yeah, based on the way he's taking care of his body. My theory is that he's going to try to hang in long enough for Bryce
Mm.
and then pack it in.
Yeah. Is he the one that just committed to Arizona?
I think so.
Yeah.
I
was
think
just
Bryce
reading
did.
about
This
that.
was his senior high school year. Yeah. So,
Now, is he better than Bronny?
well, the interesting thing about these things is that I tell people athlete's development goes through stages, and a large part of that is affected by the athlete as well as the coaching, right? So if you get
Mm.
coaching, so one of the things you got to remember, Bronny didn't have 2 or 3 years at USC, right?
Right.
And so you got to kind of give him time to develop, So I think the more he gets comfortable and kind of finds his role, which every player has to figure out, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can all, by the end of the season, he could be in his groove and find out, his flow. You
Mm-hmm.
got to give him time to develop. Everybody wants everything instantly. It just doesn't work out that way.
Well, it's like Tom Brady says, they keep trying to put these players in a microwave.
Yep.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so what's going on with the technological advancements in sports?
Well, I think we probably had, looking back, one of the biggest watershed moments regarding tech, particularly around the area of mental health. I have a
Mm.
very good friend of mine who's a high level executive at a major D1 university,
Mm-hmm.
and they cut some very big deals with the health system down there around mental health and
Mm.
athletes and for the community about the importance of mental health, getting mental health interventions, treatment, and
Yeah.
then you saw many athletes step up to the plate and talk about their mental health challenges and things that they're doing
Right.
to
Yeah.
keep healthy and keep their minds healthy, and because athletes, I mean, think about if your job, your 24, pretty much 24/7 cycle, people talking about you, talking about what you did good, talking what you did bad, and you're trying to live your life at the same time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
most of the people don't know anything about you. They're judging you, whether or not you made the shot or didn't make the shot or didn't, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they're that's very mentally stressful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, the fact of the matter, I mean, imagine everybody knowing how much of a signing bonus you got. Then your
Yeah.
phone is blowing up, and it's not like you can't say you ain't got it.
Right. Yeah.
What do you mean
Yeah.
you ain't got it? You just signed for, you know what I mean? And that creates stress from your
Mm-hmm.
family, from friends, from hangers on, I mean, we just read about Earl Thomas's wife basically stealing $3 million from him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I remember, don't you remember we talked about Tyron Smith a while back where his uncle was extorting money from him?
See what I'm saying?
you know?
People rolling up on you. Remember when I bought you sneakers when you were in 6th grade? Yeah, so why do I need to buy you $100,000 truck?
yeah.
So there were really big advances in 2024, and hopefully they will continue. And I think they will continue. Like you saw
Mm.
that situation with the young man who walked off the field for San Francisco. And I said this in 2024, particularly about San Francisco 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
They're done. Stick a fork in them.
Yeah.
They're in a rebuild. They're in a rebuild. They've
Yeah.
had 3 major collapses. That's unsustainable, especially in a team sport like football. No one has any confidence in the quarterback. And I'm not talking about him as a person, but there is not confidence on that team that he can get them to the promised land.
Well, it was like I was telling somebody, McCaffrey makes that team go. And
Yeah.
when you saw how they missed him.
Well, it became glaring that what
Yeah.
people thought about the quarterback was confirmed. Like, this guy can't do it if McCaffrey goes down.
Yeah.
He can't. He's not that guy. And you're poking me. You're poking me right now, Joe. This is why. You remember when they had that situation in San Francisco in the playoffs, and they went through like 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Right. And I was telling people, this is why you needed a Cam Newton. And I'm not talking about the old Cam Newton. I'm talking about the new Cam Newton, who is smarter, wiser, older, and could coach up whoever is going to be your number one. But if you get into a situation like that, I would rather look to my bench and be able to call Cam Newton in for me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Than the 3 or 4 quarterbacks who did nothing. And this is the stuff that ruins franchises. And I'm like, but I go back to my theory. Lazy, stupid, selfish coaching. And you have a man-to-man conversation. Cam, this is what we need out of you. Can you give us that? Can you give it to us?
Yeah.
Because that's the value at this stage and place of your life. Not that you can't be a number one, but this is a business decision. I told somebody, Cam, I can't, you're not going to give me 10 years. Right. I can't build my franchise on you. But you could, we got all the pieces to make it happen except this one piece. You have the ability to get us over that hump if we get in trouble. Or he stalls, or he hits a lull. I'd rather call Cam Newton in, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who can do what he needs to do. And he doesn't think about it. He doesn't have to be with McCaffrey or a receiving core. He doesn't have to put the whole team on his back.
Right.
He doesn't have to do it. Could you imagine how dangerous that is? That you got to think about weapon 1, weapon 2. Oh yeah, Cam is back there.
Yeah.
I rest my case.
Well, the funny thing is, you know who's still out there? Joe Flacco.
Yeah, in the right situation, Joe could be very effective. If he doesn't have to move around and he's got weapons around him, yeah. Yeah. You know, but you can't build on those guys. But those guys, if you got pieces, they're a very nice insurance and an understanding. They're a very nice insurance policy to have.
Definitely. You know, because he's well seasoned.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's got the experience, and you know, he can just step into those situations.
That's what you want. That's what you want.
Now the Pioneers we lost this past year.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about Greg Gumbel.
Yeah.
You know, this guy, he anchored Sports Center. He did NFL Today. You know, he did NFL games. And as you know, as we said, he was the first African American to announce a Super Bowl.
Yep.
So I mean, and you know, and he opened doors for guys like, you know, James Brown, you know, and Tom Jackson, you know, and all of those guys. And he just did it all. What didn't he do was the question.
Yeah, he was a Renaissance man in that space for sure.
You know, and it all started when Bryant called him up and says, "Hey, there's an opening here in Chicago."
That's how it usually happens. Relationships.
You know. So now Jerry West.
Yeah.
This man is in the Hall of Fame for 3 things: player, executive, and a consultant.
Yeah.
I mean, he led the Lakers to 5 championships.
Yep.
And he consulted with Golden State, and that led to 2 championships.
Yep.
So, you know, and the man is the NBA logo. So that tells you everything you need to know about Jerry West.
Yeah.
He was the face of the league at one point.
Oh yeah.
You
At a
know,
high level, the
yeah,
highest.
yeah. I mean, this guy, he was a superb player. I mean, I really didn't get to see him play that much.
It's called YouTube.
Yeah, well, I mean, when he was playing,
No,
you
you're too
know,
young. You're too young for that.
exactly my point. So, but I heard the stories about how he used to shoot from half court, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if they had a 3-point line back then, he would have racked up the points because the guy could shoot,
Without a doubt.
you know, you know. And now Lou Carnaseca. Now, he was a founding father of the Big East Conference.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, it was the Big East Conference for sure.
yeah. I mean, this man won 526 games in 24 seasons.
Hmm.
I mean, and never had a losing season. Can you imagine that?
So it's amazing. I don't know how you do that.
He never had a losing season. He coached the Nets at one time, got them to the playoffs.
He was a basketball savant. He really understood the game at a whole other level.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the man was just an institution. He really was. And all I can say is God bless him. The man was 99 years old when he passed.
Wow. He's seen a lot of life.
Oh, I'm telling you, man.
He's seen a lot of life. And I think being around all those young people kept him young.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, how many of those people did he mentor?
Exactly.
Some of them kids, they were like his kids.
Yep.
The Chris Mullins of the world, and so it was just amazing the man's career. So,
Yeah.
So what's going on with the financial landscape of sports, in your opinion?
Well, it's kind of an ABC. The money is getting larger. And so
Sure.
I had a conversation with, again, a Division I executive. And I said, you know what? Can I run a theory I have by you? And he said, sure. I said, just as we see in the NFL, the expectation that you're not going to sit 2 or 3 years as a quarterback, the objective is to get you to play ASAP.
Yeah.
Is that now, I believe, from my perspective, I asked him, is going to be the expectation going forward for all these athletes? Because the money is so large.
Oh, yeah.
He said, you're absolutely right. Because I said, okay, I'm not thinking crazy. So can I ask you another question? He said, sure. I said, I believe we're going to start seeing probably over the next 15, 20 years going forward, a lot of athletes only playing 3 or 4 years and retiring. You will not see long careers anymore.
Well, we're seeing some of the football players do that now.
Exactly my point. Because you got to say to yourself, well, I've made or making so much money. Why should I risk my body or health for another 5 years?
Yeah, exactly.
And he was like, no, you're absolutely right. And I said, I think the third part is a lot of these kids that are now in this new arena are not being educated to understand that. Like, you gotta you're now in college, a pro. So the expectation is for you, when you actually become a pro in the league, to be a pro. You're not 21. No, you're a pro, and you're expected to perform like a pro. And I think that's gonna have a challenge. Let's put it this way: a challenging effect on many of these things. And I think it's going to come back to where I started with Coach Prime and what he's establishing at Colorado, which is the real model. Like, you got to develop all these guys, and beyond football, with football, in football, and beyond football. It's important to expose these kids to gifts and talents they have, because everybody's not going. And even if you do go, there ain't no guarantee you're going to be there long. Nope. So what are you going to do?
You're always an injury away.
Yeah, or a system away, or a whole bunch of. I mean, look at Tyreek Hill right now. He's angry because, but he only has himself to blame. And I don't know his personal business, but I'll end it here. My point right here. Right. So somebody called me. What do you think about Tyreek Hill wanting to come out of Miami? I said, no, I get it, but you remember the decision you made. I'm going to leave the best quarterback, if one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the league, to go to Miami to make money. But do they have what it takes to get me to the playoffs and the Super Bowl?
Exactly.
No.
Nope.
So you bartered for money. When the Chiefs said to you, can we restructure your deal? Well, let's think about that. I'm not going to be playing into my 30s, 40s, 50s, or 60s. So yes, Mr. Hunt, let's see if we can restructure a deal, maybe somewhat like Allen Iverson, where every 10 years he gets $10 million.
Yeah. Wow.
You see how you got to start thinking? Because Tyreek, you're not going to run a 4-3 forever.
Nope.
You're not going to play in the NFL forever. But you could have left a legacy in Kansas City with maybe 5 or 6 rings, and you could still have gotten the money. Yeah. I mean, how many houses do you need? How many cars do you need? How much do you need? But you walked away from that. They didn't tell you to give up money. They said restructure it.
Yeah. Well, they don't see it that way.
Well, this is what's going to hurt a lot of athletes that don't understand this, and they really don't have an excuse because it's one of the things that Magic did. He didn't take all the $25 million Dr. Buss offered him. He spread it out over 25 years.
Smart.
See what I'm saying? Allen Iverson still gets checks from Reebok. People don't even wear Reeboks like that no more.
Nope.
But instead of taking all that lump sum money, he spread it out over the rest of his life.
Well, we'll have to stop right there.
When I start talking about the money, Joe, I like to talk about the money.
I know.
So,
but anyway, that's my take on the year in review, 2024.
Great year. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. But as we say in the Smarterfan podcast, stay
in the game.
Stay in the game, my friend. Stay in the game. See you next week, family. Bye-bye now.
All right. Bye-bye.
Smarterfan.